The Stranger in the Chapel. It was a quiet Sunday morning in the small desert town of Redstone. Dust swirled around the wooden chapel as the townsfolk gathered for the bishop's sermon. They were whispering about the stranger who had ridden in that dawn, a tall, broad-shouldered cowboy with a scar under his left eye and eyes as cold as winter steel. When the church doors creaked open, all heads turned. The stranger stepped in, hat in hand, boots heavy with dust. He walked straight down the aisle without a word. Behind him, a young woman followed, pale, trembling, and dressed in a torn white gown. The bishop's voice faltered as he saw them approach. "Son, this is the house of God," he said softly. "What brings you here?" The cowboy stopped in front of the altar, his gaze steady. "Justice," he said simply. And with that single word, the entire church went silent. The bride no one knew. The woman's name was Clara Bell, the daughter of the late Judge Bell, once the most respected man in Redstone. She had vanished 2 weeks ago on the eve of her arranged wedding to Sheriff Donovan, the most feared man in the county. Rumors said the sheriff wanted her inheritance more than her heart. Others whispered she had run away to avoid becoming his property. But no one knew the truth, until now. The cowboy introduced himself as Luke Kerrigan, a drifter who once worked cattle on Judge Bell's ranch years back. He claimed Clara had been kidnapped and hidden by the sheriff and his men. "I found her chained in his barn," Luke said, his tone like thunder rolling across the desert. The bishop paled. "Dear Lord, and what do you intend to do now, son?" Luke looked around the chapel, his eyes meeting every shocked face. "I intend to make things right," he said. "She's my wife now." The bishop's shock. The bishop's staff clattered to the floor. "What did you say?" he gasped. Luke didn't flinch. "I said, she's my wife now." The crowd erupted in whispers. Old Mrs. Hawkins crossed herself. Sheriff Donovan's deputy, sitting near the back, rose in anger. "You can't just take another man's bride," the deputy shouted. Luke's hand dropped to his holster. "I didn't take her. I saved her." Clara's voice trembled as she stepped forward. "He's telling the truth," she cried. "Donovan locked me away. He said he'd marry me even if my father's grave was still warm." The bishop looked from Clara to Luke, then to the deputy, whose face had gone red with rage. Outside, thunder rolled across the desert sky. Then by God's mercy, the bishop whispered, "we'll hear the whole truth before judgment is made." The sheriff's return. As the storm broke outside, the chapel doors burst open again, and there he was. Sheriff Donovan, soaked in rain, eyes burning with fury. "Luke Kerrigan," he growled. "You've got 5 seconds to let go of that girl." Luke stepped in front of Clara, calm as ever. "Can't do that, Sheriff. She's my wife now." Donovan laughed, a cruel, hollow sound. "You think saying it makes it true?" "Bishop married us this morning," Luke said evenly. "Before God, she's mine." The bishop's hands shook as he raised his Bible. "I did. Under her free will." Gasps echoed through the room. The sheriff's face turned crimson. "You'll regret this," Donovan spat. Luke tilted his hat down. "Already did, Sheriff. Long before today." The gunfire at Redstone Chapel. The tension snapped like a whip. Donovan reached for his gun, but Luke was faster. The sound of the shot shattered the stained glass window behind the altar. When the smoke cleared, Donovan was on his knees, his revolver clattering to the floor. The townsfolk froze. Luke holstered his weapon, his expression unreadable. "Take him," he told the bishop, voice calm. "Alive, if you can. He'll answer for his crimes." Clara ran into Luke's arms, tears streaking down her face. "You risked your life for me." He smiled faintly. "Didn't risk it, sweetheart. I gave it." Outside, the storm passed, and sunlight poured through the broken glass. Redemption at dawn. The next morning, Redstone woke to a new peace. Sheriff Donovan was gone, bound for trial in the capital. The bishop mended the shattered window, saying it would stand as a reminder that truth breaks through lies like light through glass. Luke and Clara stood at the edge of town, their horses packed and ready. "You really mean to leave?" the bishop asked. Luke nodded. "Redstone's seen enough of me. But we'll send word." Clara turned, giving one last look at the chapel. "Thank you, Father," she whispered. As they rode off into the pink dawn, the bishop watched, and for the first time, he smiled. He still remembered the moment his staff fell and the cowboy's calm voice echoed through the church. "She's my wife now." And though it had shocked him then, he now understood, it wasn't defiance. It was love, forged in fire and truth.